What's going on, guys? I'm Tao and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be installing Arch on my computer. I'm going to show you step by step exactly how to do it so that if you want to install Arch on your computer as well, you'll be able to do so. If that sounds interesting, then let's hop into the video. Alright guys, so the first thing you'll need to do is get a USB stick of around 4 gigabytes or more. This one's 32 that I have here. Go to your web browser and type in rufus.ie. Here you'll go and download Rufus 3.12. I already have this downloaded, so I don't need to do this. Then we'll go to archlinux.org. Go to download. Scroll down. All the way down. Though this does depend on where you're at in the world. I'm in the US, so I'll pick a US mirror, and I usually really like the ones, if Princeton has one, I'll do that. Otherwise, RIT seems to be pretty good. MIT is even better for me. It's just really plain. As you can see, it's only taken me like 17 seconds to download. Super duper fast. Once you are done with this, we'll go ahead and go to Rufus 3.12. Click yes. Insert our USB stick. As you can see, it shows up right here. We'll do select Arch Linux. We'll change this to GPT, UEFI non-CSM. We'll click start and we'll click write in ISO image mode. It will write to the USB, and then you are ready to reboot your computer into your USB drive. Usually you'll press escape and then something like F12, F2, F5, F8, it depends. One of those keys, and it'll get you into your temporary boot menu where you'll boot into Arch Linux. I'm about to disappear, and then I'll just voice over the rest of this video as I'm installing Arch Linux. And now we're done, so we'll close this up and I'll continue the video. And the first thing that we'll do is execute a command ls/sys/firmware/EFI/EFI vars to make sure our system is indeed booted on UEFI. We can see that it is because this shows some output. So we'll do ping 1.1.1.1.1 and we can see that our internet connection is up. We can do ifconfig to see our connection status, and we'll do time date ctl space set-ntp true to set NTP for our system. lsbok will show us our devices, and from there we'll do cfdisk and select our device /dev/sdb. Here we will delete both of these partitions and then remake our own partitions. The first partition will be a 1 gigabyte. You don't have to make it this big, you can do like 500 or 600 megabytes. It'll be a 1 gigabyte partition for the boot, and then we'll make another partition for everything else. As you can see, our disk is GPT, and we have the original one set to EFI system, the 1 gigabyte partition that is, and the second partition we'll make sure is ext4 or Linux file system as far as the type goes. Now we'll go ahead and do mkfs.fat-f32/dev/sdb1. That formats our boot partition. mkfs.ext4/dev/sdb2 will make our ext4 partition or our main partition. And now that that's done, we'll go ahead and do mount/dev/sdb2, so our main partition first on /mount. Then we'll do make directory /mnt/EFI. Then we'll mount our first partition with mount/dev/sdb1/mount/EFI. From there, we can run a tool called packstrap. This tool will allow us to install our base level of packages on this system. So we'll install on /mount base-devel, which is important that you do install this, Linux and Linux-firmware. Base devel includes a few things such as VI and VI sudo, etc. We also installed vim and VIFM just to have vim on there, and VIFM is a vim based file manager. Then we'll do ln-sf/user/share/zone info/America/Chicago to get our time zone, and we'll send that to /etc/local time. Now we'll do hwclock-systalk. So this sets our hardware clock to our system time. Then we'll do vim/etc/localgen, and we'll scroll down just a bit so we get past the examples, and then we can type /en_us dot, and then it'll show up the line that we want to remove. We can press I and then take off the comment off of that, then close out of this file and run localgen. Once this is done, we'll go ahead and make another locale file using vim. So we'll do vim/se/locale.conf. I should mention that we are ch rooted into this system, so arch-ch root /mount would be the command to get into here, and then we'll do lang equals en_us utf8, so basically duplicating our other locale file. Then we'll do vim/se/hostname and make a hostname for this. I'll make it tk3-arch. We'll take the dash out, and then we'll do our host file /etc/host, and we'll do 127.0.0.1 localhost. Then we'll do ::1 for IPv6 notation, and we'll do localhost there as well. Then we'll do 127.0.0.1 and do tk3arch.localdomain, and then we'll do a space and do tk3arch. We'll close out of this file and save it. And now we can do pacman-s network manager. This will install all the network functionality for our system that we will need whenever we reboot the system. We'll go ahead and clear out a few more things, and we'll do systemctl enable network manager. Make sure to get the case of this correct, otherwise it won't work. Then we'll type passwd to set the password for the root user, and we'll do clear. After this, we'll go ahead and run pacman-s grub UEFI boot mgr. This will install our bootloader, and we'll do grub-install --target equals x86_64 -EFI, and we'll do EFI directory equals /EFI. This installs our grub bootloader, and then we'll do grub-mkconfig -o/boot/grub/grub.cfg. It'll generate the files, and then everything should be good to go. We'll go to vim/se/pacman.conf, scroll down, and enable the multilib repository. Now we'll do pacman-syy, and then run pacman-sgit. We'll do user add -m-g users-g for the groups audio, video, network, wheel, storage, and rfkill with a -s switch, and which sets our shell, and we'll do /bin/zsh, and then our username talkelly3. One quick thing I want to mention while we install the zsh shell pacman-s is my screen recording for this did cut out shortly, so I would like to mention that we ended up installing sddm, which is the Plasma desktop, through sudo pacman-s plasma-meta meta, after which we enabled it, as you can see there, and installed a few other packages such as Discord, OBS, and Dolphin and Console, which are two other programs that you will need. Now we'll exit and reboot the system, and as you can see, we booted it, entered in our password, and we're here. Okay everyone, so now we have Arch Linux installed, and I'm going to go over customizing it just a bit, so that way you'll know kind of some things you can do with the KDE Plasma desktop. So first thing I usually like to do is edit the panel and we'll change the panel height. We'll just scale it down some. I don't want it too small, but for this display we'll put it at 30. Drag it up to the top and click maximize panel. I just like my panel on top, and now as you remember we install Latte Dock, so we'll go ahead and start that up. It should appear down here whenever it's ready. Here it is. This one's messed up because we didn't install Firefox because I installed Chrome. We'll open this up and then we'll click Pin Launcher. The next thing you're going to want to do as an Arch Linux user is install an AUR client basically. So we'll do git clone https://aur.archlinux.org/trizin.git cd trizin make pkg-si. This will manually build the Trizin package, which will allow you to do things like Trizin space package name you want to do, and it'll let you find the package. Okay, so now after installing Trizin, the next thing you're going to wonder is, how can I make my desktop look awesome? And that starts over in System Settings. So you're going to go ahead and navigate to System Settings, go to Global Theme, and click Get New Global Theme. It'll load some global themes you can get. You can look through, see some different ways to configure things. Instead of sorting by most recent first, I usually do by highest rated first or most downloaded first. And as you can see, it's the White Sur Dark and Sweet Mars KDE, both of which I really like. Also like this Lion one. I find it to be pretty appealing. And just wait for those to install. They'll pop up here whenever you're ready. The next thing we'll do while we're waiting on our theme to install is go ahead and click Edit Panel and hover over this Icons Only Task Manager. And okay, now you can see we have a prompt for our password for the SDDM theme. There we go. So now White Sur is installed and we can click Apply. As you see, everything automatically switches to a different theme, more dark theme. I kind of like this look, so we'll go with that for now. Next, go to Application Style and Window Decorations if you want to change anything. Next, go to Title Bar Buttons, and if you're a macOS user, you're going to want to drag these over like so. And then drag the icon over to this side. The question mark I usually drag down, and the pen icon you can drag over. Click Apply. Now all your buttons will go to the left side. Finally, you'll want to do SDDM and select a login screen. Click Apply. And also you'll want to do search lock, screen locking. You can do configure under the appearance and select a picture that you want for when you press Windows plus L. Now we'll go to Edit Panel and we'll remove the Icons Only Task Manager and we'll add a spacer here. Drag that here till everything but the application launcher pops over. And we'll do Add Widgets and do Global Menu, which you can drag to the far side right here till the spacer pops over, and everything should work well. Now, if you open up Console, you can see that we have the global menu up here, which just makes things on the actual window a bit better looking in my opinion. Now to customize our ZSH shell, which is what I have running for this, we'll go to omyc.sh and we'll scroll down to here, copy this curl command and run this. There we go. We have the Robbie Russell, the default prompt on here, and I just really like the default prompt. I like the way it looks, so we'll stay with that. You can also go to Settings, Configure Console. You can go to Profiles, click New. You can just say Default. Go to Appearance, and you can get new appearances if you so wish, like this. Clicking Get New, you can do Sweet KDE Suite KDE also comes with Suite Mars, so you can click apply. Then do this, click set as default, and then click OK. Close console, and open up console again, and you can see it looks pretty good. The hard borders around this don't look that great, so you can obviously do some playing around with what things you want as far as your terminal goes. To change the dock, if you want to make it look even more like macOS, you can click edit dock settings, click appearance, take the size of it and just drag this up to 100%. You drag the opacity to around 50% and kill the zoom on hover if you don't really like that, which I don't very much. It does have an absolute size, which you can also drag down if you want a smaller, more clean looking dock. So we'll go with that, and now we are pretty much done with this macOS installation, besides finding my own wallpaper, which I will do at a later date. This installation does have a whole lot of configuration left to go, which will be in other videos, such as how to configure all your RGB devices to work with Arch Linux. I found out how to do that, and one of the reasons I'm switching over to Arch Linux again completely, except for maybe some Lightroom editing and casual gaming if I ever decide to game, just because I have a lot of RGB devices and I really like them to be all synced to my color scheme, which I should have played in the intro of this video, just a few b-roll shots of that, and it really annoyed me that I couldn't before. But man, KDE Plasma looks really great on this monitor. I forgot how good it looked. Actually, I didn't even have KDE Plasma installed whenever I got this monitor, so this is the first time I'm seeing it on here, and man, it looks amazing. Anyways, that's pretty much all for all the installation work we're going to be doing today. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a thumbs up and comment down below what your thoughts are on my move to Linux, as well as what operating system or OS you guys use for your daily driver. I'd be interested to know what my audience uses as far as whether it's macOS, Linux, or Windows. It'd just be pretty cool to find out. Anyways, that's all for today's video. I'm Tal, and I'll see you in the next video.